I don't know, Jody just handed me all that stuff, and I didn't see it. I mean, there's agendas, but did you print them? I'll just make copies of this. Someone will make copies.
Right, the teacher's lounge, halfway down to that.
Should I copy it?
You can hear us?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay. All right, we're going to start in the planning session. Do you have anything, any remarks at this point?
No, I just want to thank all those involved with graduation. It went very well, and I'm very proud of that class. And again, thanks to everybody involved.
Real quick, Dr. Martin had mentioned Thursday evening for a meeting. She will be at a IU convention or curriculum. And it's okay with everyone, she would be willing to zoom in for that meeting. Anybody, any probably wishing to speak, make comments?
There is one, block.
So last one was on
Just state your name. From
Grandson.
Grant.
So I have some concerns about the new school board members. Remember, the week of prom, they had football sign-ups, and due to like haircuts, taking up buses and all that week, my son was unable to attend sign. So he proceeded to message the coach and say, hey coach, I'm son's $100 I'm unable to attend your workout for the summer right now due to playing league baseball and travel baseball. The coach messaged him back and said, you have to make choices. Choices between you playing football or baseball. So, after that, we've had kids quit leaving baseball, become football. There's a game going on right now, there's kids leaving baseball. Also, at practice, in one of his practices, conditioning or whatever, about a week or two ago, he told all the players that was there that he has a baseball player that messaged him, and he don't know how he got his son. So my son tried raising the Williams off and grow up, took appropriate actions to contact his coach. And he gets the message back about making choices. So then the coach goes on to tell the rest of the team, I can't wait till he comes to first practice so I can send him his more money. Now, to me, it sounded like this guy has ego problem. And that came from players that was there. So first off, you're not allowed to have mandatory signing practices until August. He's had signing sheets, he'll do guidelines things that he posted on Facebook, on the boosters website a week ago. He also stated on there, he's not affiliated with any employers, AAU teams, or some summer teams. He said, if you have a job, you have to get your work scheduled around practice times. So it sounds to me that he should be his practice times, talk to his manager or employer and schedule around the special kids. He can't, I mean, mandatory camps don't start till August. So he can't hold anybody accountable for anything right now. freshman, he started all 3 years, and he's not playing football now. Because he feels like he's being fired before he even went to pitch. That's all I have to say.
Is it the Roswell Region team?
Was that?
Yeah.
Roswell Union? Yes.
A couple kids, they're short-handed kids now because he made them, my son even has all the text messages. I told him, don't delete it. Like, he was pretty ignorant and cocky in his messages back to 100.
And
They kept saying choices, choices, choices. There is no choices to really make if you're not being punished till August 5th. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, it's not technically football season right now.
Well, we've had incidents in the past with certain coaches every year, that they did the same thing, where we had kids that were playing basketball, and we told them, during the off-season, you have to go to basketball scrimmages, you can't play other sports. And I know the board has told the public and, our people that I know personally me, but pretty much everybody up here has always said that we encourage kids to play all sports. Play year long.
And that's what colleges want too. They want kids to
Right.
play all about sports. I mean, I know they're going to college for these sports, but they want these kids in high school to play all about sports. This guy's here, they can come in.
First of all, he was wrong 100%.
That's why I'm here.
I've been here all these years. The rule is, coaches cannot tell other players, you can't play basketball, you can't play baseball. That is forbidden. So it's not that to talk to the AD.
talking about it, they should play as many as they can.
Play as many sports as you can, there's no
Yeah.
rule.
You all did it too this year.
There's
Right.
no
No
rule.
problem.
So he
Yeah,
has
so
that.
I did this with the proper channels, I contacted the athletic director, I contacted the athletic board member, and supposedly, I haven't heard nothing back, but we're supposed to do an investigation. So I just wanna make everybody aware of what's going on.
Even with an investigation, he cannot,
I know, but my son feels like he's gonna be hard,
well,
but
no,
no.
it's gonna be.
Have you spoken to the athletic director?
Yes, I thought it was.
I just pulled an email up, because he did reference the officials. Yes.
We're probably gonna have.
I spoke with Mr. Barrett last night, he brought this to my attention, and we'll be addressing this. And it should not be an issue moving forward, he'll address the coach on what he should say and what he should say.
That's what I'm gonna do, whatever he can, contact him first, and, just wanna make sure everybody here knows what's going on.
See the dates.
Yeah, Dr. Farquhar, I just wanted to throw my 2 cents as a varsity coach in this district. We're a small school district where we're encouraging these kids to be the best they can, to find their niche in life. And that involves supporting what they're doing and still providing the opportunity for them for whatever sport.
So-
Yeah, you're,
And I bet,
that was good. Well, I just feel like let's, encourage Hunter not to pull the plug on this.
I was just gonna say, I hope that I would reconsider, but
it's up, it's hard, he feels like now he's gonna feel even harder.
Because I like to see the other boys that are up here right now, who walked off of the Legion ball team, go back to Legion ball. At least, their season's going to last, what, maybe about 3 more weeks anyhow.
Right.
So, why can't they play ball?
I would.
I agree with that 100%. You've always had that, I don't know why.
He could get a copy of their schedule and work whatever around that.
Well, the Legion team only has 9 kids tonight. They're struggling because Bryce quit and I don't know how many others did now.
Yeah, when you're telling kids you can't play other sports, you're hurting those other team sports that are school.
Athletic chairman's not here, but Ms. Ward should inform me when you speak with the,
I thought that.
I mean, immediately, now this can't drag on, it has to be dealt with immediately.
So, I mean, it sounds to me like he's here for his own ego versus he's being here for the kids. That's the way it's going.
Well, you can't use the kids as a shield.
No, that's not, that's what I was.
Most of the time, we will ask, I'm this person. I know that.
Let's have to make some adjustments.
This is just what you did.
Yeah, because I mean, you can't have a sign-in sheet in the summer and say, paying for it, right?
No, you cannot do that.
Thank you.
Thank you. So we are going to take steps. Yeah, Dr. Mr. Barry, is that right?
Yes, I spoke to Mr. Barrett last night, he's going to be addressing this with the coach, so that he understands the rules and regulations, what we're trying to do.
bills for payment. Any questions for administrators on their reports?
You have one.
Just, there's a lot of stuff in the package, and I got mine this morning, I mean, I got those email on Friday, but there's a way going forward, we can get some of this, like, piecemeal answers. It comes all at once, and I have a couple days to review it, where if it can come a couple days earlier, or, you know, we don't have to wait for it to get everything done. I know that's not past practice here, and I understand, and there's probably a lot of reasons why, but I would really like to go through this stuff in detail, and I am so far behind. I'm gonna have questions, basically what I'm gonna say, I'm gonna have questions.
Right.
I understand that, I'm just saying, I don't know how far ahead they have.
Yeah, I know, and I know,
You know,
Is it the agenda or the?
it's all
It's
this,
supplemental
it's the stuff that comes with it,
Yeah.
yeah, this is literally,
yeah.
I mean, partly my fault, I was on vacation, and I had to get caught up on my root job today. So, but yeah, it's just, I'm gonna be reviewing this.
Ross,
wasn't ready Friday.
Ross, even if the agenda could be ready on Thursday, that way we can find a way if we can't get there that day, because I couldn't get it picked up on Friday. I was at work all day, my wife was at work. So then, over the weekend, I was busy doing other things. I didn't have time to pull up the agenda on the phone or whatever. So today, I ran it off when I left work at 4 o'clock, and I have no idea what's in bills for payments or anything like that.
So that's my, I'm just, unfortunately, I might have some questions for Bill on Thursday. So if I can even,
You can find it, you get it, even throughout the day.
yeah, I'll leave it, I just,
Yeah, I don't know where that disconnect is happening, because I think last month there was a little bit of a problem with the agendas. Whether it's the secretary or where this is happening, but like I said, an idea if we could get them out on Thursday. Because I think we used to. I'm trying to remember.
Dr. Harbaugh, is that any way possible? I don't know when all this is produced, to be able to provide it to the board.
Yeah, Mr. David said it might be easier to kind of piecemeal, because a lot of things come together at the very end, with the administrators and the reports. But as we get that and build that, there's no reason why we can't. If they're okay with things coming piecemeal, we can try to do that as well.
when I prefer, I can do a little more research on it, and I'm not going to know.
Yeah.
And we can try to push for a Thursday. We just try to use every bit of time that we have to allow the administrators to the full extent to get whatever opinion we need to get in.
That being said, does anybody have anything that they were able to review that question?
Not for bills, as we go through the agenda, I got,
Okay.
definitely got some questions to that. Bills, I did not review bills.
Mr. Bashir?
And I got some.
I saw one bill, I can't find it, it's on the lighter side of it. Stupid right up, it says for hot sauce. $15.
How much?
Hot sauce. It's somewhere in here, I saw it. And it's ridiculous.
You know about it, Mike?
I haven't used a lot of hot sauce. Anytime we go down there. Hey, we can talk on that, but with a lot of ranch and hot sauce.
Ranch and hot sauce.
There's other bills I have not done. I'm with Ross.
Any, of the administrators report? No, well, obviously, you go through the agenda and then ask questions that way.
Yeah, that's what you did.
And Mr. Borson,
Okay, under education. Item A is discuss approving professional behavioral health services agreement between Chestnut Ridge Counseling Services and Brown Road School District. It's going to be paid out of the ESSER fund. Now, this is just a normal renewal.
Yes.
Item D,
Real
discuss.
quick on that one,
Yeah.
is there anybody else out there? Have we ever looked at other than Chestnut Ridge?
I spoke with the director, if you need to come, that was one of the questions too, to do some research, and it really isn't
Is this the same contract that does the out and school suspensions in?
the RSS,
Yeah.
that is Chestnut Ridge.
But is it under this contract or is it under?
No, that answer, Dr. Rivera,
That's all.
I don't want to misspeak.
Hey, Dr. Harbaugh, you You there?
Well, I can't support it. I won't. I don't think they've done good enough service.
Oh, that's
This is one vote. He needs let back in.
Is there something else out there?
He needs let back in. He lost power.
Lost power.
We have to do that.
I can't understand why there's no other company that we cannot get counseling services. This is the only one they got in the market corner.
Right.
They don't treat us very well.
I mean, yeah, I know SPHS offers some services, but I'm not sure if they offer the full extent that Chestnut Ridge offers. I mean, and you might know a little bit more about that too.
Well, I'm not feeling they can go anywhere.
And I can definitely put some feelers
That's what
out.
they do with this.
See.
Just saying, you got the votes, you do it.
Again, I know that the applied is pretty extensive in-house, so it may be hard to find something, but I'm gonna look into it. Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Okay, well, very easy.
Yeah, so page 8 on here, it does ISS.
So let me ask you this,
That's-
if the bonds I look into, are we gonna pay for this?
One second, wait, I have Dr. Harbaugh there, you back?
Can we pay?
Yep, that's okay.
That's the question.
So, Ross, had the question, Mr. Gammon, about Chestnut Ridge Counseling Services, whether or not that is the only outfit to choose from, or is there?
Yeah, a few years back, we tried to do some things with, can't remember what the name was, but over the Centerville Clinic. And, what had happened, there's something at the county level that Chestnut Ridge, has those services, so we have to go through them. The IU was even trying to do something because they have the multi-counties, and because in Fayette County, the way that runs, it's kind of limited with Chestnut Ridge services. They have provided, monthly reports for us and have done a nice job in regards to connecting with our SAP programs, and our MTSS programs, and our behavioral therapists. So the rationale behind this is while we have that ESSER money, to try to use this, to try to lock that up so that it doesn't come out of the general fund in the future years.
And
I'm not sure if I answered your question there, Mr. Gannon, or not.
Yeah, no, there you did. Yeah, and the other question was I found the answer to one. Is this the same, under this contract is what provides in-school suspension support, and I believe it does.
It does, that's correct. Yeah, there's 2 behavioral therapists, there's a mental health therapist, and I think there's there might be a psychologist, it's all part of that package. So it's just not one, we brought the whole package of Chestnut Ridge, we have their entire services at our hands if we need it. The other part of it was, while we were looking for this, whether it was Chestnut Ridge or anybody else, was a lot of our kids have trouble with transportation, and to get to and from sessions, everything's in house right now in our district, so they have better access to that.
Well,
Well, I see that the contracts, the packet, I'm gonna review that and see, again, our hands may be a little bit tied here, but certainly it's worth looking into.
And on page 9 of the document, so we are paying for 3 people, is what it looks like, 99,000, 114,000.
I mean, my philosophy is, it's not about, because we have the money, that's nice. It's the company that I don't have any positive reactions to. I'm still gonna go, no, throwing these up.
So on page 9, you said that it looks like we're paying 2 of the people 99,000 for paying Chestnut Ridge for their service.
We have their whole services. We have, at any time, we can have any one of the services that they provide for us. There are 3 people that they put into our district on a daily basis.
Item B, discuss approving the business office services agreement for the intermediate unit 1. Says that's within budgetary guidelines.
Yeah, this is the agreement, with Mike on intermediate unit 1, that he would still, the intermediate unit 1 would allow us to use his services twice a week, until we can get somebody on the ground, in his position. So it's our backup, so we can start the year, we won't have to worry about
math teachers recommending this?
It was the middle school and high school math club. About 8 teachers.
Okay. Item D, discuss purchasing and moving the bill at the cost of $675 for 3 licenses or $1,125 for 5 licenses. That's paid for as money. So this will be geared toward the middle school.
It will be, but it can also be used at the high school level as well. But the main emphasis is gonna be at the middle school.
So Jamie did this last year, she bought out her own pocket shop. I'll tell you that, we paid for ourselves, or she paid for it.
It's either 3 or 5, choose
I
one.
think we're going to do free, it will be 1 license per grade level, and they will be able to share it. But what I don't want to do is say, we're only going to do free, and then something get wonky, we're trying to share it, need less materials, and then we need to purchase
As
more.
long as they can use it, otherwise.
And I did reach out, and they said that's fine, but I just want to make sure I'm not the table with it, if they can.
Item E, discuss approving a 3-year contract with Technology in the amount of $38,695. I guess that's supposed to be 50 cents. Paid title 4 funds.
Right, this is the group, mental health, system that we brought in the year after we had all the high rate of suicide, at the elementary school, and we had over 15,000, logins with this. We only had 1 red flag this past year, and in your package, you can see the results of Technology was very, very successful for us, and, we believe it's gonna be even more successful with the possible move this into our middle school as well.
Item F.
Hey, just real quick, on that, a couple more, if you don't mind. So, who's this run through? Is this run through counselors or?
I was just gonna ask you, does Chestnut Ridge have access to this as a part of that?
Yes, they can, because they'll get referred, so anything that happens, if a child, sends up a that's not feeling well, or if they're uncomfortable, or they're having some negative feelings, that'll be red flag, it goes to the administration and the counselors right away, and then all personnel, all mental health personnel, counselors, administrators, Chestnut Ridge, everybody, becomes active with that process.
Okay, F, discuss approving summer musical not to exceed $4,000. Now, what is this all in?
This came about from the last meeting, it might be the last meeting 2 meetings ago, from the theater group that they wanted to continue. They have a large group of kids that want to keep pursuing this. They believe they can fund it almost completely by themselves. We put in there not to exceed 4,000 just as a safety net, but we believe through the funding and the ticket sales that it should be pretty self-sufficient. But the 4,000 we put there just as a safety.
No, 4,000 is not like to buy stuff for the plays to pay for, like having a custodian.
I was gonna ask that,
there.
security.
That's really where the cost comes in, to pick up the salary of the custodian and security that wouldn't normally be working at that time.
Is this like a 1-night performance or is it?
No, it's multiple nights.
You know, tentative dates, right?
It's a Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and then a Thursday, Friday, Saturday. I think it's the last 2 weeks in July.
No, they have the idea of what they're gonna put on,
On
their
the
royalty fees, actually.
What's that? They're paying for all those, the fees for performance. But yeah, SpongeBob, and then I forget the name of the other one, but it's not SpongeBob, but
Yeah, this is the summer one, it's a camp slash and performance.
Something different.
This is.
Yeah, I think it's
Yeah, this is, Tricia right there. Tricia's stepping up and kind of with this as well still, which is, yeah.
Okay, G, discuss approving high school, middle
Right, and we also have, we do meet in August before school starts, I mean, it's cut it close, but we could do that as well.
I mean, one of my agenda items that I'm gonna talk about is, we're not gonna be able to resolve, and we're gonna need to have a meeting, or I'm gonna recommend we have a meeting before August, so it's about the press box. Because the bids on the press box are not coming back until the 27th of June. And we need to get moving.
Yeah.
The 28th of June, we need to be breaking ground on the press box. Yeah, exactly. So that's why we're gonna need to have another meeting in sometime in July, which is for the press box.
Okay, I, discuss approving cyber school studies for our student handbook for the 24-25 school year. So that should be in here also.
Correct, I could go with the meeting, that's good.
So,
I think it's electronic, I don't think it's in here.
Yeah, I don't think it's in here either.
Electronic. Because they are, this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know we're fine, I thought they weren't. Okay.
No.
I lose things and. So there, just on the policy, and Bob, I think another discussion about this. One is the social suspension, I think we definitely have to talk about. I would, there is a trend. If you guys saw the news the last day or so, there are a lot of schools that are cranking up the requirements on, or the restrictions on cell phone use. And it's something that I think we should seriously have a discussion about. It has been the complaint that I've heard the most about from teachers, and this is not the one I live with, from other teachers as well, about cell phone use in the town. Some of the policies I've seen, I mean, there's the one that just went in the Laurel, take the phone to school, lock it up, bring it out at lunchtime, and have it at the end of the day at school. I'm kind of leaning out, and I know there's going to be some pushback, but, wow.
There's no real reason,
Yeah.
other than they had to make a phone call about work or about practice, home at lunchtime, and then after school.
Well, Andy, there's one thing you have to keep in mind in today's day and age. You have students who have juvenile diabetes who their phones are alerting them their blood sugar, and so we're gonna have to take these things into consideration. That if this is, we're gonna have to consider.
Yeah, that's all, and it is inaccurate, that, it's not, Los Angeles gets here,
It's not
big
gonna
policy, we
be-
need to hear from everybody.
Yeah, it's not gonna be that cut and dry.
I agree.
I just felt that too, like, that we have to waste so much time enforcing. I know that's gonna be a challenge.
Yeah, I mean, it's a little bit better.
Yeah, 'cause it doesn't get enforced now.
Again, I want to throw it out there, I want to hear from administrators, from parents, from everybody.
Because I know some of the parents was talking about some of the classes, and I know the Jesus classes, they use it in class, so I don't know if we.
That's part of the Laurel policy is that, I mean, the teacher can kind of do that. And that's kind of what the other part is. I want to get some policies from some other school districts. And kind of read and see what they do, especially the new ones. I will tell you, there's even legislation out there. It was introduced in the state house, the Pennsylvania State House, where a senator, state senator introduced legislation to ban cell phones in schools.
This might be for Dr. Hartmeyer. Is there anything from the IU that discusses like a recommendation for cell phones, or they totally stay out of that discussion?
The IU stays out of that. Most schools are governed by BASD and their policies that they set that they invented by their rating teams. So the majority of the school districts in the state, the public school districts in the state of Pennsylvania are all pretty similar. As Mr. Gammon said, there are a few that have gone out and changed that. You have that right as an individual district and the local government to go ahead and change that as well. So they're basically boilerplate templates that they have for most policies, and ours fits right in there with that boilerplate.
care about that cell phone. It will be a battle. Do you agree, Ginger?
Oh, absolutely. And it's just like a battle you don't wanna pick, because you're taking away time teaching from the other kids who wanna learn.
Maybe, just, the effort that it takes to enforce it.
You know, something that we talked about before, like with AI and all the new technology, I mean, we need to, we need to be mindful of that, but,
Because you do get a couple that cooperate, but then you get a handful that don't, and that just, it's detrimental. It's torture.
We also get a couple in the middle school where if you do put the phone in the caddy, that they will purposely forget their phone in the caddy as an excuse to get out of other classes later in the day, that then they can run to other classrooms and be like, did I leave my phone in your caddy? Did I do that? And then they get out of work and, say, oh, I didn't want to do math today, so then they get to run all over the building looking for their phone in a caddy where they know where it is.
So it is a challenge.
It's always.
There's no doubt.
And I agree that it should be
Well,
addressed.
I would love to have it again, one day. Just,
Let's break in 1 second.
Yeah.
I'm looking at the coach's behavior and ethics. The number F, it says, coaches shall never attempt to lure or persuade students, sport, season, or coerce a student in specializing individual activity.
I will say in his defense, I believe Barrett just sent those out to the coaches on Friday.
That is
He
correct.
may have sent them out, this has been in there for 28 years that I know.
Right, but I'm being devil's advocate. If he just got a copy of it, because,
Well, the head coach may have just got a copy of that.
Yes.
I'm just saying this, all these years, everybody knows, every coach should have.
and it's been in there. It has.
I know, and
I'm
that
with
everybody
you.
knows that it's been here. I'm not, they'll downgrade the coach, it's just that he's got to know now that you got a season to sit, whatever you're doing. So it's in there, so I thought it was a good thing.
Thank you.
That's all I have.
Item A, discuss hiring the district secretary and transportation secretary.
This is what we discussed a little while ago, and we have a person that put in that actually runs the transportation for Malackers and knows all of our routes inside and out, probably better than anybody else, is interested. And we're looking to create that position that they could also assist down the elementary during arrival and departure time as well.
How many
So
candidates
it's kind
do
of a
we have?
win-win situation for us.
Mr. Dorsey asked how many candidates.
That's the only person that had applied when we put stuff out there and looked.
This
If they
was
would like to
posted?
continue to advertise, that's fine as well. I just thought we had a person right off the bat that, would be a huge asset for us to really understand the transportation.
But you're saying this was advertised?
That's what
I
my.
know we advertised something, Mr. Bush, I can't remember if this specifically, was advertised, but I know we put something out there, but we can continue to do that as well. I don't have a problem with just re-advertising and posting for a few more weeks. I just want to make sure that we had a chance to discuss it tonight.
So it is one person to do secretary and transportation secretary. Is that the way I read it?
Correct. Mr. Lowe, I don't know if you want to talk a little more about that this week. Mike and I kind of talked about this.
But it says on here, it says to discuss hiring a district secretary and transportation secretary.
It's
That's-
one position, it's just.
Yeah.
the
But it
word-
says and.
I know, so the wording was wrong on there.
Right.
We'll change the wording.
Thank you.
It's a wording that's going to be on the agenda Thursday, right?
Probably, I firmly believe that we shouldn't hire anybody unless we hire a business manager. In that order, business manager first, transportation secretary second, third.
Yeah, because that's kind of.
Put in the cart.
I think
The business manager runs the show.
But from what I understand, we're not gonna have, we don't want the business manager, or he's not going to do it. Am I right, Mike, or what?
Just my personal opinion, doing it for the last 4 years, I mean, it's really, it's a lot of time to try to do both. So you're not getting the best in either position, because you're stuck.
You get extra money for that, right? A little bit, not much.
I don't disagree with that, Mike, but being that you're leaving.
Yeah.
Right, so if knowing, one, you have to go through the interview process and figure out if that person that applied, whoever it is,
I'm open-minded about it.
yeah,
manager should be first. We should hire
And,
that.
and I'm perfectly fine with that, I was just trying to figure out, for the thinking to help.
Because Mike is right, that is a very big position, but a lot of people it is, they just don't consider, you know, I know he's the best transportation person we ever had in this district. He comes out to see, but the secretary has to make all the calls too.
Well, I think it was just to discuss the actual position, right?
That's correct. We can discuss the position to see which way the board wants to go with this.
And do we have any applicants for business manager?
Except one.
We all, we all have one, yes.
Oh, sorry, I'm sorry, I missed that, okay. Yeah.
All right, D,
Well, going back to A,
Yeah.
we don't have, I mean, okay, we're saying we're gonna discuss this, and we just move on to B. Are we gonna discuss this position? What are we gonna do?
Well, he's saying, yeah, do we want
Because
to hire, do
here's
we
my-
want to hire this position or keep the business manager doing it? That's, I think.
That's why I'm saying we should.
And or do they want to open it up again and I can continue to advertise if they would like, whatever the board wants to go with this, that's the direction we're gonna go.
Because the business manager position is posted just for the business manager, not transportation, correct?
Well, it's linked into the,
It's linked.
there's description of the job.
There's a lot to do with that.
Would this be possible? The person from the Alacritus that is out there, where they could do it on a contractual basis for it until we have somebody in place?
Is that an option you think, Doc?
I think Malacca's would be interested in working something out with us, but they don't want to lose her either. So if we can maybe, use that time, if the board wants me to look at that route to see if we can have like shared services of some sort, we could possibly do that.
Rocky, do you think that could be done?
Anything's possible.
At least, it's not a long-term commitment to, for another employee until, as we work through this business manager stuff.
And some of the things with transportation, Mike has to, he has to call buses off, buses on, add buses, take them away. Sometimes in the spur of the moment. That's why I say the business.
That's why I was thinking this person, if we contracted with Malacca, should have this person do it.
And he has to pay for the buses, that's why I'm saying.
So it's, we're doing checks and balances.
But again, my concern is that the business manager posting is linked with the transportation piece, right? Not running it, or is he just overseeing it, or?
It's basically running it.
So that's my, and we have one applicant, so that was posted and put out there so that they know.
We could repost.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, there may be.
It's a big thing, and I don't think.
No, we
Mike
posted
enough with that
Posted
stuff.
for this secretary of transportation also.
In
So-
addition
This is
to
to
this.
assist the
This
business.
is,
So like this position is to, yes,
So-
this position
so-
is to assist the business manager.
so how this came about, I'll just explain it.
Yeah.
The elementary, and Dr. Rain can also back this, the elementary is, there's 652 kids, there's one secretary. That phone's ringing off the hooks, they're trying to do transportation, there's things coming in, people can't get on because they're on the phone. They really need another secretary. The secretary doesn't really need to be full-time there. They need him in the morning, they need him in the afternoon. So this position would take care of both of those needs in one position. Whether we hire this position or not, they're still gonna need help as a secretary down at the elementary. So we can either pay, $20,000 for someone to be helping out down there, or we could be paying a full salary where we have someone that can do all the transportation, all the bus notes, do all our homeless coordinating, do everything that takes a lot of time to do. Because sometimes there's not a lot to do with it, but then there's weeks, months that it's nonstop, and the business manager just losing time actually trying to move the school forward, because all you're doing is calling this school, trying to coordinate. We had 4 different families that we were trying to coordinate transportation from Greensburg. And Mr. Bashir knows that, because he works up there, he sees it. Like trying to coordinate those kids there, and then we have 3 more families in Uniontown, trying to coordinate that. It takes a lot of time to do that, where if there was a dedicated secretary of transportation, that would alleviate time that wouldn't have to be.
Okay, are you talking about the secretary position that's down at the elementary school that's vacant right now?
There's not a position right now. There was never really a true
Yeah, there
position. We used an aide. in
I
that position.
understand, yes, there was an active position. The lady left. So there, yeah, School, am I correct? That position that was right by Ms. Wagner.
Yeah, so
Yes, it was
I
active.
don't know, I don't think, I don't know if that was an actual secretary position.
That wasn't, that was just, I forget what her title is.
She was down there, but I don't know what her position was.
Okay, that's a union issue,
Yeah, yeah.
but that's what I'm talking about, so if that is an active position. There could be a grievance, if that's the position that you're talking, there could be a grievance. I'm just giving you a heads up.
And that's fine.
Because
They
it
don't
should
agree.
say if that's what you're doing, then it's what contractor should be, what contractor.
Well, since transportation is business, that's why I was putting it with the business, like, business.
But it's gotta be under, they're gonna have their own contract.
Well,
they're
they'd be
gonna
under,
have CIU.
they'd be under district secretaries, like how Shelley, Jody, Melanie, in their contract.
And also, getting back to Mike, Mike had to deal with many non-English speaking families. Many.
Phew.
And you had to call this interpreter to do this and do that. It was a long-standing operation.
Dr. Mahan and
Dr. Ray and
Dr. Nicholson did most of the calling on those ones.
And being in the office up there, it's just hard to coordinate when you're not speaking the same language. That's where the concern of transportation is bigger than a lot of people think. You know, I mean, what Mike did, I know he wasn't compensated enough for it, but the point is, he was there. He handled it. Because sometimes, at the end of the day, there's no one to answer the phone, unless Mike answers the phone, and he always did. So that's why I'm saying, a position, we should look at it, but I think we should also just wait a little bit here.
I suggest on this one, Mark, we should wait because everybody,
We need a position.
yes,
I mean, I think that's.
I think we need something.
yes, we need something.
We need
Let's
something.
just say.
We need to help them.
And if it's somebody worthwhile, like, you think she can handle this?
I don't even know.
We don't
Somebody from up in Malaca's, I don't know.
Well, man, if you're taking something away from them, they're gonna be devastated, I'll tell you that.
They're gonna be,
You're talking about the dispatcher, she runs the place. I'm just saying.
we're talking about someone that's gonna make them really, really mad. Let's put it that
So,
way.
we need a position or not. That's what I'm.
I think we do, and to be honest with you, what I would like to possibly see is kind of to lay this out, what you just said in writing, if we can get a job rec for that position, what their duties and responsibilities are, that would help, I think, but I'm kind of leaning towards, we definitely need something. I mean, you've got the biggest school, obviously, you've got 7 grades down there, so.
And I think that will help with the business manager piece.
And we should see a job description.
Right, I want to see if they have.
Yeah, that's no
Yeah.
problem.
Yeah,
That's
that's
what
what
we'll
it's
something for that.
To be honest with you, any new positions going forward, I would love to personally see a job description with that, so that we help out.
Well, we have discussed it, it's out there, so we'll just wait and see how, in my opinion,
Dr. Arbar, you mentioned that we had a business manager application.
That's correct.
How far are we?
We'll have to call the person in and look at the credentials and start the interview process.
Okay, so we're in its infancy still. yeah.
Correct. Yeah, so what we'll do is we'll work on a job description for this position. I'll contact the lockers and see if there's some type of agreement we can do for shared services temporarily until we can, get a better feel for where we wanna go with this.
D, discuss accepting the letter of retirement from Bernadette Smith, Middle School Cafeteria, effective August 9th, 2024. C, discuss accepting a letter of retirement from Tricia Roth, Middle School English teacher, effective the last day of the first semester of the 2024-2025 school year. D, discuss hiring Angela Cole as a custodian for the Brownsville Area School District in accordance with the SEIU contract, effective June 21st, 2024. Dr. Hartbaugh, you have anything on that?
Mr. Gates, can you just repeat that, please?
Do you have anything on that to add with the Angela Cole one?
Letter D.
Custodian.
No, those are the two that came through Mr. Yakubek, that would be the next in line.
Okay.
We have 2 open positions and 2 people applied.
All right. E, discuss hiring Joyce Bloom as a custodian for the Brownsville Area School District in accordance with the SEIU contract, effective June 21st, 2024. I imagine everything's.
I just had a question here.
Go ahead.
Policy, were tests given, or will they be given?
Tests were given, they've been long-term subs here for almost 2 years, so when I did a review on them, you know, I did a review, I made sure that they were picking things up safely. Ergonomically, they were fine. I made sure that they mixed the right chemicals, that they didn't weigh them out, you know, and I made sure that they was using the proper safety procedures and everything they did.
So you're okay with it?
Yes.
That's all I have. Okay.
F, discuss approving the request from Stacy Lent for an educational sabbatical for the first semester of the 2024-25 school year. And G, discuss approving the membership renewal of the IEI, Institute for Educational Intervention, at a cost of $4,250, and it's within budgetary guidelines.
Just a question on F, back to F.
Okay.
Stacy Lynn, you said she,
Education,
she's the guidance.
yes.
So we would be down.
And we'll post and see what we can get out there. We'll also call Cal Newman, see if they have any student teachers, kind of like we did with Jalen when he first started out as well.
And I think there could be some internship opportunities there, as long as
Okay.
Jalen's, you know, willing to supervise, we can definitely get some interns.
Okay. That'd be great.
High quality interns.
Hey, just a couple of questions on personnel. So vacancy, teacher vacancies that we are actively in the process of right now. One, I'm tracking a special ed, right? How many applicants for that?
We had 5.
And where are we in the process?
First rounds were completed with all 5, and I need to touch base with Dr. Hardbauer and Dr. Martin regarding some candidates.
What other teacher positions are we actively hiring?
Or need to fill Trisha Wolf's position in the fall for ELA.
Okay, and so on the social studies, so we lost Mr. Roebuck, we lost Mr. Brady. How's that, how are we feeling that?
Mr. Barrett went over and was replaced at the high school. Mr. Roebuck, Brady Parkinson, who was hired last time, was going to come over to the middle school, and then like the other young man, they all came to middle school. So we're gaining 2 periods because when Nikki Harvey left and went over to the high school, she also did PBIS and other things, so she had limited classes. So we picked up 2 extra classes by having these 2 gentlemen come over to and we should be fine. We checked that with Mr. Clemmer and Mr. Rouse in regards to class sizes. Everything seems to be fitting very well for that.
Okay, so just so I'm tracking. So Ms. Harvey and Jim Barrett went from middle school to high school to fill the
Correct.
vacancies. Mr. Cito and Parkinson are going to the middle school to fill those spots down there.
Correct.
We had mentioned before, and I guess that's no longer the case from what I just heard, that if we made Mr. Barrett the athletic director, that we might need to hire another social studies teacher. You're telling me
That was right until we moved into the high school. When I spoke with him and his willingness to go over to the high school, he could then just assume Mr. Roebuck's, because they have more flexibility in their schedule than what the middle school has in there. So that's why that change occurred.
So in the middle school, though, we are still down to just 2 social studies teachers, right?
Correct, but we picked up 2 extra classes because Ms. Harvey taught 2 separate classes. She did something, was offered something for PBIS, and then also something in regards to a diversity class, I believe, that she was doing. So we were able to pick up an extra class, which help offset the class size.
Okay, I'm a little nervous. I will tell you that I think one of the best ways that we help schools is that more teachers, smaller classes are a good thing. In the social studies, there's 2. That's probably the only discipline that only has 2. From what I'm tracking, I think there's more ELA, there's more history, there's more science, there's a lot more than 2 in these other disciplines. This is the only one that has 2.
It's not.
Right, and the social studies is not a tested subject. We also have, like I said, I can show this to you on paper too, Mr. Gammon, if need be, or I can give you a call tomorrow to explain in more detail. But if the board wants to look at another position, we're just trying to make sure that we are, being fiscally responsible for where we need to be, especially when we run out of ESI.
I think today, and I think we talked about this last month, the amount of teachers that we ended the year with, we are gonna begin the year with next year. We have the exact amount, is what I'm tracking. Right? What we ended this last school year with, we are not.
Yeah, Ms. Duke in the elementary is not going to be replaced, because we're able to absorb that position. And the other position, and if we don't absorb if we absorb the other social studies, it will be 2 less than what we were last year.
And I thought it was said at one time that with the capacity in the classrooms, that is still under cap, according to the contract.
Yeah.
I think that's an important piece to this too.
Yeah, I agree. I'm not, but then we also we moved somebody at the elementary school up into a coaching or a literacy coach or something, right?
Oh, yeah,
Mrs.
Little.
Yeah, Mrs. Little.
Yeah.
So we moved her up.
And we're not replacing that one either, because
So that's
the numbers are
elementary
going to
school, right?
So, yeah, she runs literacy, so that, you're correct, so there will actually be 2 positions in the elementary school that will not need, that we can absorb and not need to be filled.
That's correct.
You okay with that?
We're under class size in both of those areas.
Yeah, okay. We're averaging about 100, a little over 100.
Give or take.
I monitor a class now, so that's, the enrollment's going down.
2 years ago, we were 702, last year we were 652, so
Yeah, that's significant, yeah.
What was it again, I'm sorry?
2 years ago, we were 702 at the end of the year. This year, we were 652.
What's your projected kindergarten class coming in?
Well, so registered right now, I think we have 64 or something like that, but that's the same way as it was last year at this time, Mr. Gammon, because we do get a lot of registrations right in the beginning of August, even in September.
Okay.
So around this time last year, it was the same thing, and we ended up with 106 or something like that. So it's very hard, difficult to plan, I can tell you that, because right now, we would have extra teachers, but I don't think we will by the time it actually comes around.
Yeah, 104. I was corrected this year, 104. Well, last month, I didn't do June. Okay, sorry.
No, you're good.
All right, item A under finance, discuss approving the final budget for the 2024-25 fiscal year with revenue set at $34,664,296, and expenditure set at $34,664,296. Village rates, Fayette County 19.43, Washington County 13.42, that's an increase of 0.39. The budget will be advertised and available for review at the Brownsville Area School District Business Office, 5 Falcon Drive, Brownsville, 15417, beginning June 22nd, 2024.
Mike?
Good job, bro.
Item B, a motion to approve the farmstead exclusion resolution for the 2024-25 school year. Item C is to discuss increasing the wage for the summer food service program as follows. Head cook from $14 to $15, I'm assuming this is per hour, and cooks from $13 to $14. Item D is discuss forgiving previous year taxes on an empty lot property in Luzerne Township.
So a property was donated to Luzerne Township. They went and tore down the house that was there, but then they turned around and resold the property with the house torn down. They found out that they were still trying to collect back taxes on whoever left it. So to try to get the sale through, they're asking for the school district to pass, that we would forgive those back taxes.
I didn't say E3, where is it?
It was like 12, 13.
Yeah, it was like $1,300 for back taxes,
Oh,
something
it's an Allison.
Yeah, Allison.
I think it's John Collins.
Something with,
Oh,
discuss approving the notification of the following repository tax sales from the Fayette County Tax Claim Bureau and authorize the president of the board to sign the consent of sale on behalf of the district. It's in state and parcel ID is 19-18-0012.
Just to reiterate, it is starting to work now, but the borough's now denying some of these.
But,
So 2 of the 3 now are saying, nobody out of state's gonna buy any property.
Yeah, because there's been a lot less of the out-of-state transfers in our event.
There's hundreds of thousands of dollars of people live in California, Nevada, on properties here that they have not paid taxes on for years. So that's why we vote no. The borough's starting to vote no. The county's the only one that says yes. 2 of the 3 say no, they can't buy the property. It's working. 5 years, it's working.
Item F, discuss approving a quote from DocuSign, a one-year contract in the amount of $2,808. Item G is discuss approving. I'm sorry.
I have a question. The DocuSign, I can explain. So, one, just trying to move forward with how we go about the paperwork of everything. So this is the lowest amount entry in the DocuSign, it's 500 envelopes. We're looking at testing it with our special ed department and also business office for new hires, creating like a new hire packet that can be sent DocuSign. They can fill everything out, actually come right back to payroll. We're not chasing someone trying to get their information for pay. We're always chasing coaches. And then with the special ed department is when they're trying to get paired signatures. This is a legal document for court cases, anything that we make attempts at signatures. We wouldn't do this with everyone. We'd still try to do as many as we could in person when they're having their meetings. But that parent that's hard to get for signatures, they would be able to now track how many times they send the DocuSign signatures, and there would be an audit trail of them attempting that, so we couldn't come back on our department for lawsuits. So this is a test. I hope it works and you guys agree to it. It's something that the district could move forward with, maybe down the road, flipping the department over even more to the digital side. They could have those documents easily stored in one place.
That's definitely something I think.
Yeah, I'm
But did you say it's limited to 500 for this?
500 envelopes, so that's what this is really like a test.
Okay.
You're basically the payroll and Dr. Nicholson would pretty much be the only 2 that would have access to really send them out. And then if it works and it's something we can continue, then you could always up how many envelopes you purchase.
Okay, thank you.
So, kind of on that line, I don't know if you guys are tracking or not, but everything that we do, a lot of the stuff that we're doing right now is analog and paperwise. Like, you cannot, if you're an employee of this district, you cannot go on and get your W-2 flash. Mike has them, he mails them out, everything's analog. It's 2024. And I will tell you, the other thing, that kind of like, wait, what? Was on vacation last week, came home, and I checked the mail, which I never checked the mail. We mailed the state, the pay stub for every teacher in this district got mailed to them because they weren't in school right now.
I mean, and the postage on that, right?
67 cents.
Yeah, I think.
I mean, I'm not saying it's a lot of money, but come on. And I get, what do you use ADP or do you use?
We use Microsoft, it's a school.
Okay, software. I'm sure there's modules there.
They do, it's more expensive, but, we've done it, we made it work.
And I appreciate
So I
it,
just
man.
never tried to tell them to take extra money. To make my life easier, I wasn't, we did it. We
Yeah,
made it
it's
up,
just-
so it was never a push to spend the extra $4,000 a year. just
It was a
to
nightmare.
make
We
it
require
work.
also parking on the W-2, so thanks for.
I'm a quick vote.
I'm just throwing it out there. I think.
All right, item G, discuss approving the resolution for a 3-year agreement with Municipal Revenue Incorporated.
This is just the company that, it's probably about 6 years ago, the district signed up with to buy delinquent taxes.
auditorium to film a movie called Mascot. It's a goosebump movie.
This is
Rocky.
my question. This is the same.
What
The same.
taxpayers gonna benefit from that? We get any revenue from this movie.
I mean-
Last one was a disaster.
Our security gets paid.
Yeah, but what do, I mean,
We really don't benefit.
a movie company, shouldn't they have money to say, hey?
They're all local kids from Brownsville. They're all 21, 22-year-old local Brownsville kids trying to make a movie.
There you go.
It's not the, some of the kids are high school kids here.
So
so
it's
they-
no major picture.
No, it's no major picture.
They
They-
would make a
there's no-
Somebody along maybe something.
It could be someday. This could be the new Martin Scorsese.
Never know.
I mean, it would be nice to maybe do
I
a,
don't wanna see Ross Campbell, Susie, or like, I'm running up here like. Oh, that night, people running through all the hatches. So we're not gonna do that.
There's somebody in there.
They're asking just to be able to shoot inside the auditorium.
Shoot the film. Joey's friend.
All right, so, discuss the field press box.
Hold on, Ross.
Oh, sorry.
Going back to G, Mike, since we went to this company 3 years ago, is there a way we can get a report on how much money we have recouped?
Yeah, it's on there. Yes, I will give you every year's.
Yeah.
What they do. It's a one lump sum payment. They buy it all up front. It's not like one of these companies that turn around and just, give you X amount of dollars and that's how it. It's a one upfront payment. It's $600 and some thousand this year. I don't know the exact figure off the top of my head.
Yeah.
It's like 615,000. The year before was 640,000. It all depends on how how much is delinquent. To go. They buy it all at one time. It's just one stop shop. And the only problem with leaving a company now, we have no delinquent. We already sold everything off.
Right.
So you don't need, and they're a reputable
Wait for it to
company
go
and
back up.
they're easy to deal with. They send all the documents. They send us payment on time as soon as everything comes through. So, but I'll get you amounts.
Good.
Yes, sir.
All right. So discuss the bid at Redstone Field Press Box. So it's out there. It's, there was a 13 June was the inspection for bidders to come take a look. It closes on the 27th at 1:30, 2 o'clock is bid opening. We are behind on this significantly. We hope to have this like under as well. So I'm gonna recommend we have a meeting either the 27th or the 28th, like the night of the 27th of June, or the 28th, as soon as possible.
What day are we looking at this?
The 27th, at 2 o'clock in the afternoon.
What's that for December?
I'm okay with that, if we can. If Zoom is an option, we can do that, that would be fine. Just to kind of get out there, get this ball rolling. We definitely are behind, and that is kind of like the key. We want that, so that we can get the rest of the stuff going as well. So appreciate that. Now, that said, we don't know what these numbers are gonna come in like. We also don't understand these timelines, so we are looking at a plan B. We gotta have a plan B because it's getting late, and if this doesn't work out, this could be supportable, temporary solution type of stuff.
Plan B can really just be that no one's allowed on the third floor.
Yeah.
Basically, just the third floor is off limits. Lock it up. Just to get through this season, if it gets to it.
Not the preferred action. We did our due diligence. I mean, some things happened along the way. We started this process in January. Lights are, we got some issues with lights as well, but we think that should be coming along pretty good. We kind of see. Anything else you want to add, Jerry, on that?
Lights, we're just waiting on the
Yeah.
Right. I'm waiting for the poll depth so they could go a hold. He told us today, we was hoping to hear from him today for a start date, but hopefully he'll get back to us soon. We asked him how long he thought the project would take, and he told us maybe about a week, just a little bit longer. Due to the weather, hard to say. When it comes to the press box, they're, in the bid, it's an aggressive schedule, so they have to be done by
August, sixth or the seventh. They gotta be done real quick. So that's why you have to get it started as fast as you can, so they can get it finished. I put off the asphalt repaving twice already, hoping we can get some of this work done before we can do that.
Okay, item B, a sound system for Redstone, but this one's a little bit different, and it comes in a little bit less than we originally thought. We were looking around 30 grand for admission one that would be permanent. This is actually one that's gonna be movable, so that we can also use it for other venues as well. If we wanna bring it up here for a softball game, we can bring it down to a baseball game, we can kind of move this thing around. So I'm a big fan of this process of using that.
This company actually did PNC Park.
Yeah.
So.
It's pretty cool, yeah, and it's a great guy. We really, basically, we were looking at spending about 30 grand for that, so. And it would have been stacked, it would only been good for Redstone, now we're using it in multiple places, so, yeah, pretty good deal. Redstone baseball field, I'm gonna defer. I can't remember everything.
We have to.
I know it's the infield is the
Yeah.
big thing right
We
now.
have to resurface that infield, and that's basically all this is resurface the infield. Jeremy Thomas, he's the one who did our softball infield, he's gonna be the one who's gonna do all the work. Where he bought the dirt is the same place we're gonna buy it, because that way we didn't have to bid all this out and go through this long process. So, we're gonna buy the dirt, we'll have it delivered, and Jeremy's all in favor of this. I talked to him about this, and this will probably be done sometime early July, because that's about it, that'll fit in the schedule.
And in your packet, you'll notice we have the bids for the contractor. There was one that came in really low. We need to do a little bit more vetting on that one, and we'll kind of, we look to put it on the agenda on Thursday, we just need to do a little bit more vetting, just to the concrete for the building over there, 22 grand, something like that.
Yeah, I gave the list.
Yeah, he has a one figure. We want to do a little bit more vetting before we put that on the agenda for Thursday. So,
Me and Jerry did contact a bunch of stuff on there, and can't find anything wrong with it. So, I mean.
So far, so good, but one more thing we want to take a look at.
One more thing.
Yep, no worries. Yeah, that's it.
Safety, vector change order, somebody explain that one, because it's pretty big.
You know what? When the HVAC company was putting in all those new units, they found that in the ductwork, the smoke alarms in the ductwork isn't compatible with Vector. It was from the old companies. So everything needs to be replaced in ductwork. And that's pretty much what we're looking at. And there's nothing we can do about it, because the smoke alarm in the ductwork, if the fire would start on the roof, the ductwork has to close, so it doesn't pump all the smoke and everything down into the building. So it's a safety issue. It was overlooked when the first thing was done. We weren't really involved too much in whenever this project started with, Vector. But this is something that's, it's big, but I just don't know how you get away with it.
Yeah, and it really needs to be lumped with the HVAC work, which we have the money for the HVAC, and it really needs for the HVAC to work properly with it shutting. And like Jared said, it's a safety issue.
You'll have a safety issue. You don't do it, you'll have a safety issue.
Mr. Delors, can I go back for, I know we talked last meeting about the, grant for the, was that for the what was it?
It's for the rest of the HVAC.
Yeah, that was I applied for that,
When will we know?
not till September, so I think it's when they're awarding on that.
Okay.
We were able to put in for, I think it was $2.3 million that the grant will pay, and then the district will be on the hook for the $750,000. It's about a $3 million project.
Okay.
Our conference.
But they are reviewing it, because they did call us
Yep.
for some questions, so it's already under review.
Okay, if there's anything that we can do to help, please let us know. I don't, there might not be.
There really isn't. 'Cause
I know, it's a big grant.
It's just out there, and every school applied for for it.
I'm sure.
So, they said that there is talks that the state might go in and cut everyone's grant that they put in there, maybe cut it in half so that we can more money to more schools, which still will help us, but it's, we might not be able to get everything.
That's right.
Sorry, I just, thanks.
Thank you, Mr. Hammond,
Yes.
you want to comment on the annual safety report?
Everybody should have a list of the practices that we implemented or were already implemented and were followed during the past school year. There's some things that were added from, obviously from last year that, for instance, the x-ray scanners came in July, so they would not have been here last year. We've been using those 100%. All baggage goes through that. We continue to use the metal detectors. We've added, changed a little bit of change in the security rounds with the addition of 2 extra officers. We actually have somebody especially during lunch hours, that can be dedicated to still walking the halls, checking doors, making sure students aren't skipping classes. If they catch them in the bathrooms, wherever, they can figure out where they're supposed to be and get them back there. So I think we've cut down on a lot of the problems just with visibility of these officers. That I know teachers have said something to one of the officers that they appreciate that they see him now. That the presence has changed some of the issues from the past couple months. We have not had a lot of the problems that we've had leading up to this. With the grants, we've also are going to proceed going forward with the changing of all the exterior locks. At this point, and I hate to say it this way, but I don't have accountability of all the keys. So, I mean, there's keys that went out there that long before I got here. I think this is gonna change that. We won't have things just floating out the wind. I'd like to build upon that in future, but that's going to come down to having money available to do it inside, outside in. Change the locks outside, work to come in if we can't get down to getting electronic pass keys or key fobs. That way we can kind of regulate who has entry, when they have entry. That can also be brought into the school itself, so the teachers don't have to carry manual keys. They can pass key into their doors. That works well with the substitutes as well. When they come in and they don't have a key to an office, we don't have to have somebody running around locking it. We also got, they're gonna start in August, they're gonna apply window film to the doors at the elementary, the entrance up here at the middle school, both cafeterias, and what that's there for, we already have security film on the interior of all the entrances that is impact resistant. This is gonna be more of a privacy film with the idea that these are long hallways or large gathering areas for the students, that somebody can casually be driving by, walking by, and seeing, students in the hallway or students in the cafeterias. We're also gonna put the UV film on the interior of the foyer here in the gym. It won't be a privacy film. It'll still allow you to see inside of the foyer, but it'll cut down a lot of the sunlight heat coming in there, because that thing is like a sauna in there in the summers or when there's sun on it. The public safety app, the company has all of our floor plans or layouts to the buildings. They're working on getting that. We just have to get with them to get to admin trained up on it first, and then prior to the beginning of the school year, try to get all the staff in on it. And the way that would work, or the way that works, is they come in, it's maybe a 35-45 minute training. It can be done in the auditorium, everybody can be trained up at one time. And then they'll have access to it either through their phone or their computer, however they want to set it up, or both. That way, as if something were to happen, each student, each person in an office, they can go ahead and acknowledge on the app that there's a problem or that they're safe, and it'll show real time if there's something going on there. The halo sensors,
Those were asked for through drug and alcohol. My understanding is that there's no cost to them. They're free. They'll do provide them to us, and also do the installation of them. I was just at a training today for security or school resource officers, and one of the chief for Quaker Valley said that they have completely cut down a lot of their vape incidents, drug use incidents, and even vandalism in their bathrooms because the halo was in there. The students, once they realize that they're getting caught vaping, smoking, there's no reason for them to hang out in bathrooms. So that cuts down on their criminal mischief as well.
We have those, or
We're in the process of acquiring those. And the way they work is they're set up that they'll detect the vape, they'll detect THC, they'll detect tobacco use, and obviously smoking use. And it'll alert to a phone or a mobile device of some sort that this is here. They're set up so that they will alert if somebody tries to mask. So if you go in there and spray your Axe body spray over the thing, trying to make it think that it's something else or there's no smoke in there, it'll alert to that as well. The other schools in the area, in the county that have it, LH has it. Their first year having it, you catch a lot more vapes, so you might have more vaping incidents as far as kids getting caught with them. But the next year it goes down because they stop doing it because they never get caught. The audit, our risk and vulnerability assessment that was done by PSP, I expected to have had that already. I talked to the trooper and he was going to push that out, and that was a month ago. I don't know where we stand on that. He hasn't contacted me to say it's done. I assumed it would be. I don't expect to see any major instance out of it where there's anything of substance that he would suggest that it's and to go back to that, their assessment is not something they say you need to do this. These are just points of consideration. So I think a lot of the stuff may have, the last time it was done several years ago, things were done and changed from that. But I'd like to look at that once I get the new one and compare the two to see, what was brought up to it before, what was changed and what wasn't. Obviously with fire alarms and the new security system, the new security system is nice that we can also assign people access to shut it off. For instance, the coaches with the gymnasium, there's a pad right inside. They can go in. They have code that's specific to them. I can tell who shut off, when it was shut off. I can also set when they're able to access these access these pads. So if, say, the football coach is doing conditioning between 4 and 6 p.m., he only has access. I can set it for 3:30 to 6:30, and he can't go in there at any time after that and set off the alarm. Also, it gives us a open door indicator. So I've been playing with that a little bit, that if I know that it'll send me an alert to my phone that, say, the kitchen door was left open, now I have it set for more than anything over 5 minutes. I can go and then check, either look at the security cameras and see if they're just getting a delivery or if somebody propped it or put a wedge or something in it. So it gives us a little bit better handling of the alarms. Like I said, the addition of 2 part-time staff members has made a significant difference, one of them being down at the elementary school. We didn't get it up and running before the end of the school year, but we're gonna utilize we have a third metal detector, another metal detector down there that can be used for the kids that are being dropped off in the mornings. Because as it stands right now, they're not getting checked. Just because staff, we don't have the ability to put anything else in there, like in the main foyer for the entry, to have all the students coming through like we do for middle school and high school. We don't have the staffing, we don't have the room. But on the backside, we at least would be checking students as they come through, and we can physically check their bags. Moving forward, forgive me, I can't really see, it's dark in here. All right, we're still gonna continue to use our behavioral threat assessment teams, our Safe to Safe program, which a couple of the things that came in that were tips that we had to deal with immediately. We only had 2 of them that came in that actually had to have some sort of police response. It was Luzerne Township. They responded. I think they did an excellent job. They spent all day running down leads on it, and finally came to a determination it was not credible. It was just a couple kids that had an issue with another kid in the school, and they were false allegations. Like to see continued camera upgrades, but again, that comes down to what we can get budget-wise through grants or otherwise. And like I said, the idea, again, with more grant money, if we can get shatter-resistant film on all of the windows on the first floor, that way everything's kind of secure all the way around. They say it's on the entrance doors, all the entrance doors right now. I believe prior to me, it was something that was looked at to put in for all first floor windows in all 3 schools. And then the increased security at the elementary, using a third officer down there for screening for the students coming in the morning.
Any questions?
The course we went to down at Cal, they mentioned that IUP was gonna run, or Indiana was gonna run a 2-day course. Did you hear anything about that?
Which,
The one we went down at Cal,
right,
the instructors mentioned to me afterwards that they were gonna look at, the Indiana team that was there
yeah,
was looking to try to host one this summer, but a 2-day, the longer version of it. The reason I asked is because that was, I mean, I've done a lot of these SEMA classes, and that was,
right,
it was one of the better ones I've been to
right.
by far. And it was great that our lead guy was there, but that would be an option to get some of our other security team members to get that training, because I'm telling you, I just thought it was fun. And it's free. The only cost we would entail is, put in a room and travel and all the rest of it. The course itself is free. So if you hear about that, I'll keep my eye out for it too, because I'm on that distribution.
Right, I get the emails from,
Yeah, it's the Department of Rural Schools, what's it called?
it should be, I thought I mentioned that in one of the,
Just to add a little bit more about safety, at some point in the summer, I like to call a transportation meeting, because you've got to look at this traffic situation. It's terrible, and you've got to let these buses and vans drop off. Keep you, somehow, I don't know how we're gonna do it, it's got to change, it's unsafe. Kids are crossing with their heads down on the phones, parents are dropping kids off, on right through all the stop signs. I see it every day, you've seen it, you know about it. We have to figure out something, and I don't know the answer right now tonight, I'm looking at different ways. It's an unsafe environment, some child will get hurt, no matter, not at the elementary so much, it's that high school. And we have stop signs, so they don't have, we have to put a U-turn stop sign, U-turn sign up here, because they did not want to go this way, to go through street stop signs, but they would go through them, so they do a U-turn. So Dr. Harper had a sign put up, it rectified a lot of it. But what they're doing with that U-turn is they're doing a U-turn, there's kids getting out of the cars behind them. I witness it every day, I'm like, somebody's gonna get hurt. And they're yelling, I gotta go to work. Yeah, you gotta go to work, but your child's safety is more important. But we're gonna work on that, I don't know the answer. We gotta do something. So, just like I did.
Athletics,
That question on this is probably more appropriate for,
the exec session, Dr. Harper, did you say?
Yeah, the only thing I want to say is we have to discuss the handbook, whether we want to put that athletic handbook, and whether everybody's got a copy of that on the agenda, or if we want to hold that as well. But in speaking to Mr. Clark this morning, the items under athletic committee, he would like to have those discussed in executive session.
Okay, all of it?
Yes.
Okay. Well, the athletic handbook, I know that the discussion on the social suspension has to do with the athletes as well, so.
Correct.
right?
Maybe we wait on that as well, I guess, correct? Everyone?
I would be in favor of that.
Okay.
So just for my clarification, so social eligibility are equal, right? Or not equal, because from my
They fall
perspective,
in,
I think it should be,
If you're on social suspension, I don't believe you can participate.
right.
It's the same thing.
But athletic eligibility means you can't participate in athletic events. But if you are, say you didn't go, you missed a ton of days of school, you can't go to the prom. That has nothing to do with athletic eligibility. That's, you know what I mean? So
It makes you ineligible to participate.
Making it eligible for everything.
yeah.
Like, you're ineligible for everything.
Right, so my concern is that, not concern, but just, I think our social suspension policy might be okay. Our athletic eligibility might need to tweak, if that's possible. And I'm also curious, I did a little bit of research.
But I think they kind of feed off of each other.
Well, that's what I said.
Yeah, they feed off of each other.
And I think, I know Mr. Park had been
Yeah.
seeking to have that,
Right.
revisited.
Because the issue is that they're getting punished once and then twice and then sometimes three times.
Plus there was no.
Well, my issue with athletic eligibility is that the standards that we currently have in our book are higher.
Yeah.
Than the other places.
Yeah, correct.
Yes.
Yes.
The athletic eligibility, I think a lot of it is too, not blaming teachers, but I'm just saying, for instance, I know my son, like in a couple classes last year, there'd be like 10 assignments that weren't graded. And then weeks would go by and only 1 or 2 is graded. And then weeks go by and then everything's graded. Do you see what I'm saying? Like,
You would have an F. You
yeah.
would have an F for those assignments in all lines, the way it's set up. And so if you look at the students' grades, which trust me, I freaked out on my kids multiple times.
Yeah.
You have an F in this
Yeah.
class. I don't have an F, I turned everything in, but
Right.
because the teacher hasn't graded the assignments,
And I think we discussed that as a part of it.
That was some of the problems we had. a few
That's
years
not
ago.
how it works.
That's not how it
That's not how it works. Yeah,
That's
how it
not
looks
the
in
last
all.
subject.
As a
That
parent.
subject's not graded, it's 0% and never brings your grade down to an F.
You don't get a zero.
teacher.
Yeah, right,
Yeah.
that's, what I said, not all teachers, not all teachers.
No, it's,
But
because we
like-
are not allowed to put zeros in for grades that were checked.
But if it's not graded, it doesn't show up as anything. It doesn't show as a zero.
Some teachers can, I can go probably, if I could still pull up his classes, some assignments was F 0%.
But
They
it does,
didn't do it.
And then it's, so it's
If
showing
it-
up he has an F.
it only shows up as a zero if it's not turned in when it was checked.
No,
Otherwise, it would just show not graded.
I had to email her.
Not on our
Teacher's not
side.
doing it correctly.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, not all teachers, I just said, and this was last year.
As a teacher,
I'm afraid that's
as a teacher, you give a kid a due date, and you give a due date, let's say that Wednesday, grades are checked Friday morning. Okay, this was due on Wednesday, they don't hand it to you Friday and want you to check it right away. No, it was due 2 days ago. So you put a zero in until you have time to check it. At least that's my personal, I don't know.
Same as me.
I can't
Like-
speak for all
Right.
teachers. So it's making the kids accountable. I'm all for social suspension. I'm a coach, I'm a teacher. It makes the kids accountable. It has improved our attendance. It's giving the kids that work their butts off all the time, the privilege, that playing a sport is a privilege. It's not due to them. It is not something that we owe them. That is a privilege. And it's not fair to the kids that work their butts off all the time and turn everything in on time and don't get the same privilege as Johnny that plays on his phone all day, doesn't do the work that he's supposed to do, then gives it to you Friday, and then mom calls and says, why didn't you grade that? Well, it was due a week ago. I had things turned in 6 weeks late, 4 weeks late. Have you had, Ginger?
Yes.
They do what they want to do. I know I'm the
And I agree 1,000%. I think that policy is right. My real only concern is that we have a higher standard on the amount of subjects that you need to be passing than the BIAA has. And it's an unfair advantage to us and some of our athletes. I I think. I don't know this for a fact, but that's the impression that I get.
Well,
The
they
IAA
started,
standard is 4 core subjects you must be passing.
but they started social suspension, so it would also affect kids who don't play sports.
Right.
Yeah, it's
Right,
not just.
It's
Yeah,
not.
and that's kind of where I'm a little bit confused. Yeah, that's like, I don't know, yeah, good discussion.
Policies need reviewed.
Yeah, exactly, so.
And I think you should have some teachers and some parents too, because if there are teachers that are putting in zeros for something that's not due, and we've been told about that.
Yeah.
At our staff meetings, you are not allowed to do that, that hurts that.
Yeah, it's not all teachers, but it is, we did have a few, and they were like, why do you have a zero in here? And he said, it wasn't, it's not even due yet, or something, he's like, I don't even know that assignment, but it takes our whole grade down.
Yeah, that doesn't affect it. Yeah, that's what it is.
And then,
Set out.
at this time, I'm going to call for an executive session for personnel. So we'll go into the executive session.
Before you go to executive, can I ask a question? I mean, I'm not on the list or anything, but I do have a question. Thank you. My name is the next step, and I've come up here several times asking about the music teachers. Okay, so I'm asking you, Mr. Gate, what is the proper procedure on getting teachers hired?
I'm getting what?
Teachers hired. I've asked for an elementary music teacher on more than one occasion, and everybody's like, yeah, it sounds like a good idea, all the parents are coming up talking about it, but nothing's ever been done. What is the proper procedure?
Process is we have to decide if we need one, if something is, whatever it is, whether it's math, English, science, music,
Who's the one that decides if you need it or not?
the administration decides, then they bring it to the board, and then we say yes or no, we'll vote that we need it to go, and it goes ahead.
Okay, so then, as a parent of two students that, well, now one that goes to school, I'm telling you, we need another music teacher. One cannot do it all by himself. And Miss Manoli is pregnant, she's gonna go on maternity leave, and we're not gonna have any music teacher. So that hurts my child, who's gonna be a junior this year, to have a sub in the music room, who doesn't know anything about music. The last time you guys had a sub for the music, all they did was sat and play on the devices or did whatever they wanted to do during class, that was it.
Okay, but, usually though, if you're probably take a sabbatical for a while, or take off, we usually get something that hopefully we have the certification of the music, that would know what's going on.
Okay, but what about the elementary level?
That's come through, administration.
Okay, so that we will never see an elementary music teacher, so it's
No,
not.
no, you need to get numbers that show improving our test scores. It's not by sitting a kid in the classroom, but by teaching music and art.
But the problem is, if it's not going all the way to the board level, it is never, ever going to be seen.
Okay, well, you can get numbers, get them to Mr. Mahan and say.
We have those. We have the numbers from all applications.
I can say we've had discussions on it in administrative meetings. Beyond that, I don't know how deep you want us to go on those discussions, but I'll be happy to talk about that. But, Dr. Martin, I mean, you put it in those, we have had discussions on it, it's not something we've never talked about.
I think it is extremely important to have an elementary music teacher. Because there is nothing better than to watch the kids light up when the music teacher comes down to the school. Because they're all excited, they're gonna learn something that, you know, we haven't had a music teacher at the elementary level for as long as I've been in the district.
We did.
We had
Smaller
Springer.
did.
Who?
Briefly.
Who? Oh, see, I don't know, it's all.
So this is a planning session.
Right.
So there are no minutes for a planning session. The minutes would be in the next meeting. So it does.
So I have to stamp again Thursday just to have it in writing
Correct.
and say exactly what I just said.
Correct.
If you want to do.
If you want to do the minutes.
If I want to minutes. All right, I'll make sure I write my speech down. I'll be back Thursday. Thank you guys.
Thank you.